Have you ever felt like your mind goes blank during a stressful situation? Or that you just can't think clearly when the pressure is on? You're not alone. Today, we're exploring a topic that affects every single one of us at some point: stress, and more specifically, how stress impacts our brain power. By the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of what stress does to our cognitive abilities, and you'll learn some tips on how to manage it effectively. So, if you're curious about what's happening in your brain when stress takes over, stay tuned. Stress is an inevitable part of life, and while some stress can be beneficial, like the kind that pushes us to meet deadlines or perform well in a competition, chronic stress can have a detrimental effect on our brain's ability to function at its best. Let's break down the science of how stress affects our brain power. 1. The stress response, a double-edged sword. When we encounter a stressful situation, our body's immediate response is to activate the hypothalamus-pituitary-adrenal (HPA) axis. This triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. In small doses, this response is helpful. It primes us to face challenges by increasing alertness, focus, and even short-term memory. However, when stress becomes chronic, the constant release of these hormones begins to take a toll on the brain. 2. Impact on the hippocampus, the memory center. One of the most significant impacts of stress is on the hippocampus, a region of the brain that is crucial for memory and learning. Chronic stress leads to elevated levels of cortisol, which can cause the hippocampus to shrink over time. This shrinkage impairs our ability to form new memories and recall old ones. This is why you might struggle to remember things when you're stressed out. Studies have shown that long-term stress can even contribute to the development of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. 3. Prefrontal cortex, the decision-maker under pressure. The prefrontal cortex, PFC, is the part of the brain responsible for higher-order functions such as decision-making, problem-solving, and emotional regulation. Unfortunately, the PFC is particularly sensitive to stress. When cortisol levels are high, the PFC's ability to function effectively is diminished. This can lead to difficulties in making decisions, focusing on tasks, and controlling impulses. You might notice that when you're stressed, it's harder to concentrate or think clearly, and you're more prone to making hasty decisions that you later regret. 4. The amygdala, heightened emotional responses. While the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex are being suppressed, the amygdala, the brain's emotional center, becomes more active under stress. The amygdala is responsible for processing emotions like fear and anxiety. When stress is prolonged, the amygdala grows stronger and more reactive, making us more sensitive to stressors. This creates a vicious cycle where stress begets more stress, further impairing cognitive functions. 5. Stress, neurotransmitters, and brain chemistry. Stress also alters the balance of neurotransmitters in the brain. Neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine are vital for regulating mood, motivation, and cognitive functions. Chronic stress can deplete these neurotransmitters, leading to issues like depression, anxiety, and cognitive fog. The brain's reward system, heavily reliant on dopamine, becomes less responsive under stress, which can affect our ability to experience pleasure and motivation. 6. Long-term consequences, neurodegeneration and cognitive decline. Over time, the continuous exposure to stress can lead to more permanent changes in brain structure and function. Chronic stress has been linked to the loss of synaptic connections between neurons, reduced neurogenesis, the formation of new neurons, and even cell death in extreme cases. This contributes to cognitive decline and increases the risk of mental health disorders and neurodegenerative diseases. The cumulative effect of stress can age the brain prematurely, leading to difficulties in learning, memory, and other cognitive functions. 7. Mitigating the effects of stress on the brain. Understanding the impact of stress on the brain is crucial, but it's equally important to know how to mitigate these effects. Techniques like mindfulness, regular physical exercise, proper sleep, and maintaining social connections have all been shown to reduce stress and protect the brain from its harmful effects. Mindfulness practices, for instance, help in strengthening the prefrontal cortex and reducing amygdala reactivity. Regular physical activity promotes neurogenesis in the hippocampus, countering the negative effects of cortisol. It's also essential to cultivate a healthy lifestyle, including a balanced diet, as nutrition plays a role in brain health and stress resilience. Stress is an unavoidable part of life, but it doesn't have to control us. By understanding how stress affects our brain power and taking steps to manage it, we can protect our cognitive abilities and maintain a healthy mind. Remember, your brain is your most valuable asset. Take care of it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might need to hear this, and subscribe for more insights into the amazing world of the brain. And as always, stay curious and take care of your mind. See you in the next video.